Hello again, my fellow citizens. Paratrooper Goofy Lane here. Just giving you another update of why I'm wanting to do the all the way amendment. This is a continuation. I'm just wanting to help you out, understanding why I want to do this. First of all, with 3 laws that are considered the law of the land here in the United States, is causing a deep division in this country just by the laws. We are one of the youngest countries in the world, but we're the oldest democratic republic in the world. We are the ones that all the other democratic republics that come after us look to us and model their laws for their country after us. We started out with the Constitution as the law. Now, over the years, people trying to get their rights, which I understand, because, you know, if there's different rights for different people, then understand trying to get it equal or whatever. But the civil law and the equality laws of this country are causing a division, and they're pulling us away from the Constitution. My thoughts are, if you are a citizen of this country, and I don't care if you're like me, whose family has been here since before this country was born, or if you just got your citizenship an hour ago, you're a citizen. So if you're a citizen of this country, then we should have a set of laws that pertain to us and our freedoms and our liberty that we enjoy. And that is the Constitution of the United States. That is the Declaration of Independence, that is the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. All give us the freedoms and the liberty that we enjoy. Now, something I've noticed with taxes. There was a time in this country that the citizens were not taxed by the federal government. They were not taxed because they were able to give voluntary donations to the government, which I wasn't here at that time, but I think it went to the United States Treasury, is who you wrote the check out to for your donation. My dad did it, I witnessed it, and I've been trying to recall it. Now, corporations, they are not citizens, although they are made up of citizens. The corporation itself is not citizens. Therefore, they should be paying taxes, a flat rate tax, in order to do business here in our country. So, these are just some of the things that I've thought about when I came up with the All the Way Amendment. Things that crossed my mind that I could stand up for and do, and try to do something with. Taxes was my number one thing. I don't think any citizens should have to pay taxes to the federal government. There was a reason why it was a voluntary tax or voluntary contribution, because if you liked what this government was doing, you donated. If you didn't, you kept your own money. And that was one way to show if the government was right or not, by how much money they raised. Now, Social Security. I'm a Generation X citizen, and Social Security, all of my life I've heard that it is going to run out by the time I get there to receive benefits. By the time I get of age to receive benefits, the retirement age that I've seen has raised, 3 times, from 62 to 65 to 72. Now that's ridiculous. You're expecting the older generation to keep working to support the younger generation. And the older generation has done all that they can do throughout their life, supporting the future generations. Now if you look at Social Security in this light, it is a list of all the citizens in this country. And when I say all the citizens, when I was born, I didn't get a Social Security card until I was 15 and went to work for a local grocery store that took out taxes. They said I needed a Social Security card then. My children, the children of the generation immediately after me, you can't leave the hospital with your child until that child is signed up for Social Security. That's wrong. Social Security was meant to be those who have jobs, those who are farmers, those who work for themselves to support themselves. They should not have to pay taxes. Now, as far as that's concerned, the list of all the citizens, the only list that the government is supposed to have of us citizens as per the Constitution is the census that happens every 10 years. The census, that's why it's so important to file, to apply, to put your contribution towards the census to give us a good idea how many people are in this country that are citizens, how many citizens are in this country. Now, other than that, the Constitution does not require any documentation as far as for their citizens to be put on a list. Citizens of this country are supposed to be anonymous citizens in this country. Citizens nonetheless, though. Now, I covered the last brief. I guess I'll go over it again. The All the Way Amendment is designed, I have spent time on it, and the reason why I didn't go with these others that I've brought to you, the other thoughts that I had, the reason why I settled on the All the Way Amendment is I have come to realize that even with all the laws that we have in place, we are causing a division amongst the citizens of this country. The All the Way Amendment I designed to bring the citizens of this country back together, to be considered as one group underneath the law that was intended for this country. Basically, if you are a citizen, these are your rights in the founding paperwork, the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. If you are not a citizen and in this country, if you are an immigrant of whether legal or illegal, the Constitution would not apply to you until you got your citizenship. And I beg that our government has been, ever since we were born, they were supposed to put an immigration policy in place. They have yet to do it. So I beg the government to do that to help protect the citizens and our rights in this country. Immigrants, regardless of legal or illegal, should not be allowed to vote in this country because they are not citizens. Therefore, they should not have a say about how this country is ran by the government. One more thing I want to bring up. I've still got a little bit of time here. I watched the impeachment of Donald John Trump. And one thing I noticed about the ones who brought the impeachment up, they spoke of a lot of half-truths in the House of Representatives and what they brought to the Senate. Half-truths. That's half the truth. It was proven by the President's Counsel that they were half-truths because they used the same depositions or they used the same footage of the witnesses that the House called, just different parts of that footage to negate everything that the House said was done. That's the problem with half-truths, my fellow citizens. A half-truth, the use of half-truths is a great tool in the art of propaganda. Now what that brings about, what allowed them to be able to do that is the Smith-Mundt Act. That's SMITH-MUNDT, Smith-Mundt Act. It's been a while since I've thought about that act. Now, and I don't have internet. I have to go somewhere to upload these videos, so I can't really check on it to verify, but I'm thinking that the Smith-Mundt Act came in around World War II, maybe in the beginnings of World War II, and what it was it allowed the American military to use propaganda against its enemy. Now, it was used in World War II, and all wars after that, or conflicts after that, we're still using propaganda today. Now, in the 60s, this comes up for a vote, I think every 20 years, whether we still need this in this country or not. In the 60s, what they did was, instead of just making it to where all they could do is use propaganda against our foes, they allowed propaganda to be used against the citizens in this country. So that is where Adam Schiff and the Democratic Party got the use of half-truths and was able to use them in our government to try to oust what I think is the best president we've ever had. Now, if we can get rid of the half-truths, now see, that carries on to the news agencies also. They don't have to do research like they had to, say, for my grandparents' generation. They all they had to do is look online. If it's online, it's got to be true. Wrong. That's false. That's a false truth in itself. There are a few news agencies that do their research and tell the whole truth to the citizens that listen to those news agencies. Now there's two things we need to do in order to get our country headed back to the direction that we need to be in order for the future generations to be able to truly prosper with their freedoms and liberties as dictated or as indoctrinated in our founding documents. We need to, first of all, make all of us equal with the All the Way Amendment. All the way, all citizens are equal per the Constitution, per our founding documents. That gives us all equal rights. And oddly enough, it's the same rights that everybody was wanting to be equal to. Well, and the other is we need to start telling the truths, start reporting the truths. Well, I appreciate your time today. My 15 minutes is starting to run out, so I'm going to bring this one to a close. Any more thoughts on expanding the thoughts about the All the Way Amendment? I'll do another video. Have a day full of wonder. And this is Paratrooper Goofy, out.